Did you make it straight through? Did you have any hiccups or?
Somehow, I don't know, dude. I thought I bombed selection like so bad because I had a couple of bad days of land nav. The second event we did, carrying those damn jerry cans. I'm sure you guys have, nobody tells you it's hard to carry those freaking jerry cans for 3 miles. And I just thought that I did horrible, but it was kind of cool. Years later, I got to go work at Selection as a contractor, and my buddy opened up my file for me, and he let me take a look at my file. And it was actually really interesting to see the reason why I got selected. But yeah, I got selected on the first.
Do you remember, or can you share the reason why it said you did?
Well, with respect to the program and those guys, what I will say is that I displayed the attributes they were looking for.
Yeah.
And even though you do need to have physical strength, there is an endurance and a physical strength requirement, just like all the other components. They're looking for the right person, not necessarily the best person in all those categories. And so I surprisingly displayed the attributes of somebody whom they were looking for.
Yeah.
And I will. Yeah, I'll just kind of leave it there.
Expectation versus reality, was selection everything you kind of assumed or thought it would be, or were there some big surprises?
I was surprised at how much land nav sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought land nav was going to be fun. When I was training to refresh myself, because I never really knew much land navigation, but I had a good buddy who was in the Army Infantry, and I had some Camp Pendleton maps, so we would go out there, and I'm thinking it's going to be like a great time. Dude, land nav really sucked a lot, broke me the hell down, but you just keep going. And yeah, for me it was hard. For me it was physically hard for sure.
Yeah. Was it all at Camp Pendleton?
No, selection, I was living in California. So as I prepped, I was going back and forth to the base. I got myself put into a reserve unit. It was just easier to get sponsorship that way, to go to selection. And selection is over on the East Coast.
Okay.
So yeah, they'll fly out to the East Coast.
Yeah. How long is it?
In total, it's like 6 weeks
Okay.
ish, and then it's broken into a couple of different phases. But the whole thing is a selection and assessment. So there's like a preparatory few weeks, which is preparatory, but it's still selection. And then there's the part where they cut half the people out, and then they only go with a select few to a particular area to do the final selection portion.
Yeah. Do you remember how many guys actually made it versus how many started in your group?
Roughly, I want to say we had like 160 initially that showed up to selection at Camp Lejeune, and I think they only take about I'll say between 100 to 130-ish up to the other location, and then in terms of, I don't even remember, man. I think maybe like 60 people.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong on that. But I do remember that it was 1.5 buses that we had taken up there. So it wasn't a lot of people at all.
For sure less than half than started.
I think so, yeah. About half, 60, 50%.
Yeah. Where did you go first after that?
So after selection, you go to ITC, East Coast, and I think MARSOC has actually consolidated all their resources now over to the East Coast, so they don't even have a Camp Pendleton battalion anymore. It's all over at Lejeune. Wish I would have bought housing before that happened, tell you that much right now. But ITC, so the individual training course, at the time it was 9 months long. That was an interesting experience for me. Everybody hated my fucking guts.
Really?
Oh, man.
Why?
Because I was too laissez-faire. Like, I'm showing up, I dropped out of paramedic school. I've been out of the Marine Corps for like a year and a half. Reserve unit doesn't really count. I just drove across country. I'm all rugged and just basically, hey, bro, like, where's the check-in? And dude, the Marine Corps, for whatever reason, the first thing they always say is, why are you acting like a SEAL? Which I thought was kind of funny. Like, I didn't even know I was doing that. And that's something I got for years and years after. But yeah, man, they just eat that type of behavior up alive. Like, they don't like it. And so it took me an adjustment period. It was actually so bad that there was you got 4 teams in ITC, about 20 students each, so about 80 people start ITC. And Team 2 was known for being like the savage team. Like in the first like couple months, they were just, you fucking suck, get out of here. And you're talking big dudes too, like recon, force recon dudes, infantry dudes. It was a meat eater of a team, snipers. And I got moved about a few months in from Team 4 to Team 2, which at that point, it was like me and like these 3 other guys where it was like you're on the chopping block because you're not doing good on the peer reviews. And dude, they just started like trying to come at me and stuff. And that's when I was like, dude, what is the deal with this whole thing? And finally, somebody broke it to me. They're like, nobody feels like you take this seriously. And it's not that I didn't take it seriously, but it's just that they weren't used to somebody with my demographic coming into that type of an environment. And so for whatever reason, that's how they took it. But I am very proud to say that I survived Team 2.
Yeah.
And became a member eventually.
How long were you there for?
9 months is what the course was. I think they've added language to that now or something. They didn't have. I was only the 10th class.
Okay.
So it was.
So the Team 4 and Team 2 thing is during ITC?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you prove yourself enough to stick with Team 2, make it all the way through. Mm-hmm. Where did you first go after ITC?
2nd Battalion.
Yeah. Where's that at?
Camp Lejeune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first checked in, and how long were you there before you deployed the first time as a Raider?
I got lucky, man. I again, for whatever reason, was chosen out of the handful of people that did go to 2nd Battalion. We knew that was the most kinetic. We knew that was the battalion that was doing the most work. And so I chose that one because we had regionalized while I was in ITC, so I was kind of pissed I didn't get to go back to Cali, but I was coming in to do work, man. Like, I didn't want to do anything else. And so I got picked up by a team who was getting ready to deploy, and I would say probably 8 months after I graduated, maybe a little bit less, we were out the door heading back to Afghanistan.
Yeah. Was that first deployment going to Afghanistan now as a MARSOC guy? Can you kind of speak to the differences between your prior experiences there and now you're there doing kind of the varsity squad type of stuff?
Yeah, it was definitely different in the aspect that, well, in a lot of ways it was similar to begin with. Like, we got dropped off by the plane, we're on the tarmac, and nobody was there to pick us up. Like, that's pretty similar. But it was different because, you know, once you hop on that bird, you fly out to your fob, and we were out in the middle of Helmand, middle of nowhere. And it's like, okay, it's starting to kind of sink in a little bit. You're kind of taking in the sights, the smells, the sounds. And then you crack open those weapons containers, and you start kind of getting the orientation from the team that's there. Start loading up the live grenades, start loading up the 40 mic into your belt, and it was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like finally I'm in a place where we're gonna go get to do some work, and I know it's gonna be hard, but at the same time, you know, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, like that's what you signed up for. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that deployment pretty kinetic and busy? No.
Dude, it started off like awesome. So the turnover, the left seat, right seat, which I was not a part of. I was too busy subduing some crazy drunk chick at a house party for our to-go, but that's a story for another time. Yeah, it was like 50-year-old woman. Anyways, dude, yeah, we had it all on camera when the cop showed up. I'm just going to say that much. She was out of line. So that was one of the most kinetic turnovers that any of those experienced dudes had ever had, because all of my leadership, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate or understand what I'm about to say here when it comes to a lot of the guys. Like, you know, you were in from what years?
From 96 to 08?
Dude, mad respect, because people just don't understand the level of violence and the level of risk that you guys have endured. And that was all my leadership. All the dudes as I'm coming up through the pipeline, you would see like a Alpha's day or Charlie's uniform day. I'll never forget, I looked around, everybody had Purple Hearts.
Yeah.
Everybody had Purple Hearts. Almost everybody had Bronze V's, Silver Stars, Navy Cross. Like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it, because to be a part of that community was a true honor.
Yeah, I mean, from let's say 01 to 07, 08, like that block of time was just fucking I mean, it was crazy. You know?
Rocking and rolling.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, we get there. We set out, and so for them to say it was like the most kinetic, and a guy, Aaron Torian, had just died, 7th deployment, just hardcore dude, a legend in the community. And so they were like, just be ready. You know, we did our first mission out into the, what do they call it, the dash, the desert out there. And like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers down the road, like we're in a tick. So I was kind of like, cool, this is awesome. Didn't get much in on that. I was a driver that night, so I'm just basically maneuvering vehicles, and we kind of kept our distance. Did another operation, which was like started to ramp up a little bit. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like now we're starting to get into like little ticks, little fights and things like that. Nothing too crazy intense. And then all of a sudden Ramadan hits, and we get the command to be like, they're like, hey, you're going to retrograde. And we were just like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like I just went through all this training, came back in the Marine Corps, got my ass back here by chance to Afghanistan. We're just starting to get into it. And now we're getting told to retrograde. We're like taking batteries onto pallets and stuff, and it was pretty frustrating. But you got to do a couple more cool operations. It was a unique environment, but ultimately it wasn't the most kinetic, no.
Yeah.